What's the downside to living in Arizona? Well, I'm going to talk about that today, so stay tuned. All right, I'm Michelle Miller with Michelle Miller AZ, and today we are talking about the cons of living in Arizona and things you should know before you move here. So, all right, let's just jump in. I just did one on the pros of living here, which I feel has outnumbered the cons, but you know, everybody's got their own hot buttons. So I do love living in Arizona, but there are some things that I don't love as much. And I know you're gonna say the heat. You think I'm gonna start with the heat, but I'm not, because everybody knows it's hot here. So every place you live gets something, right? All right, cons. I think right now the biggest con to living here are housing prices. They have skyrocketed. I've been here now almost 15 years and our housing prices have jumped. Rent has really jumped because there's just been a huge draw for people to come here. We have a lot of jobs. We have lack of natural disasters. A lot of people have been coming here from California and Florida. They kind of want to escape that. Our natural disaster, which is fire, is man-made. Most of the time. Sometimes it's caused by lightning, but most of the time it's from somebody doing something stupid with their cigarette or their campfire. Number two, the traffic. In high season, I know we have some major thoroughfares. They are working to expand them, but during that process, it's painful when we have a lot more people here because our population seems like it doubles during high season, and then the construction on top of it to offset it. So they're working to try and mitigate that, but in the meantime, it does, like this time of year I'm filming it, we're filming in the summer, and there's fireless people, and I gotta say, I do enjoy not having the traffic. Plus, there's a lot of people that come from big cities that aren't used to driving here, and there's a lot of bad drivers here too, so you just gotta be very defensive in your driving. But our roads are really nice, but the drivers are really bad. All right, number three, people are concerned about water. What people don't realize is, because there's the media hypes that we're like, you're gonna dry up in 5 years or whatever. We use less water now than we did in 1957. And how can that possibly be? Well, because agriculture is our biggest user of water. And with the replacement of farmland with homes, people use less water than we use to irrigate crops. And that's why we are using less water, because we have less agriculture happening here. Now, in Scottsdale and Phoenix we pump water to our aquifers for the last, I don't know how many years they've been doing that, but they are saying like when you build a new subdivision, they have to guarantee a 100-year water supply. So in some of the outskirt areas, I think it's more of a concern because they're trying to tap into groundwater. And so you have to be buyer beware of where you're thinking about buying and what the plan is for that area. Okay, number four. It's expensive. It's expensive to live and pay for your mortgage and your rent and all that stuff, but it's expensive. Like, food's expensive here. Like, to go out on a date, it's really expensive to go out on a date. You know, just drinks. And I think sometimes we have a lot of restaurants and stuff, but a lot of them are just sort of mediocre and expensive. So to me, it's just like, if I'm willing to spend the money if the food's good, and we do have some excellent restaurants, but sometimes they can really cost you. So beware, get people's opinion, or find someone whose taste you trust before you lop down a bunch of money to go out to dinner and then you're disappointed. But we have a lot of fun. We do have a lot of fun restaurants and a lot of fun things to do. And there are like less expensive things to do, like some of these food and wine festivals, and you can go out during restaurant week. I'd mentioned that in the pros, and that way you can try some restaurants where it's not so pricey. So there are kind of ways around it. All right, another con I think is we seem to lack direct flights when you are trying to fly overseas. It seems like you have to jump either to like New York, like JFK, and then go over the pond, or go to Dallas, or go to LA if you're going west. It just seems like we're like the 6th largest city, I think. And you would think that there'd be more direct flights out of a big airport like this, but there aren't. So that's kind of a bummer, because if you're gonna go on that long flight and you pay to upgrade into one of those nice seats that you lay down in, you don't want your sleep disrupted by flying to JFK in New York, and then you go 5 hours and then another 5 hours. It kind of doesn't pay to upgrade to that fancy seat sometimes. 6, lack of seasons. So that has been a reason why some people have left here. They get kind of tired of the sun every day, which you find crazy, especially if you've moved here from somewhere that's got cloudy days a lot of the time. Like if you move from Washington, you're kind of used to that. And then you move here and it's like sunny every day, 300 and some days, and they just grow tired of it. So believe it or not, people do leave for that reason. But you can get around it by going up to Flagstaff or Prescott or Sedona, where there's more trees. It gets cooler temperatures. Flagstaff gets snow. You can go snowboarding or skiing. So there are ways to get around it if you need sort of your fix. Number 7, bad public schools. We are ranked, sad to say, last in the nation for our public schools. A lot of it has to do with the funding. Like we're struggling with funding for our public schools, and then the student achievement. So it's like how well they're doing in math and reading overall based on the education they're getting and how they're scoring on those tests is like in the 40th percent. So that's not great. However, there are bright spots around there. The basis school, believe it or not, the basis school in Peoria, Arizona is ranked #1 in the nation for their high school. So they have elementary and then they have several elementary and high school campuses, always ranked very well. We have Xavier and Brophy are big private schools. They're gonna cost you money though. We have Great Hearts and Legacy schools. We do have a lot of charter schools. So there are other options besides the public schools. The charter schools aren't as expensive as, in fact, my kids went to public schools, so I don't know the cost on those. But unlike the private schools like Xavier and Brophy, which are pretty pricey, or like Notre Dame High School, that can run you $15,000 to $25,000 a year for those schools. So just something to keep in mind. It is kind of a dark spot in Arizona, but again, there's a lot of pros, there's ways around the cons, so it's just you gotta weigh what's most important to you. So anyways, if you have any particular question about living in this area, I'm always happy to answer your questions. My contact information is at the end of this video and down in the description, so please reach out, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks so much for your time, and we'll see you in the next one.